1916, the Russian winter cuts through flesh like glass. Inside a grand Petrograd palace, a small group of men whisper one name that chills their souls: Rasputin, the man they have come to kill. But Rasputin was not a man who died easily. He was born in the frozen wastelands of Siberia, barefoot, wild-eyed, and touched by visions. They said he could see things before they happened. One night, he vanished into the woods for days. When he returned, his stare was no longer human. Villagers claimed they could feel something when he looked at them, like he was seeing straight through to their sins. Some called him holy, others called him cursed. But the truth, he was both. When Rasputin arrived in St. Petersburg, the empire was collapsing under its own gold and guilt. The royal family, the Romanovs, were desperate. Their only son, the young Tsarevich Alexei, was dying from a rare blood disease. Doctors failed, priests failed, and then one night Rasputin was brought to the palace. He knelt beside the boy's bed, whispered a prayer, and by morning the bleeding stopped. The Tsarina wept. "He is sent by God," she said. The court whispered back, "He is sent by the devil." From that night on, Rasputin's power grew like a dark vine through the empire. Ministers fell, generals obeyed him. Even the Tsar himself listened when Rasputin spoke. He dressed like a peasant, smelled of wine and sweat, yet kings bowed to him. His piercing eyes haunted the palace halls. Women claimed he could heal them with a touch or destroy them with a word. Was it hypnosis, charisma, or something unholy? No one could tell, and that's what made him dangerous. By 1916, Russia was bleeding on the front lines of World War I. The people starved, the soldiers mutinied, and still Rasputin whispered in the Tsarina's ear. He had to die. That was the decision. A prince, a dupe, and a few terrified conspirators lured him to a midnight feast. They poured wine. They offered cakes laced with cyanide. Rasputin laughed, toasted to the Tsar, and ate. Minutes passed. Nothing. More wine, more cake. Still nothing. The killers began to sweat. The poison should have been instant. And then Rasputin's eyes lifted, cold, knowing. He whispered, "You cannot kill the will of God." One of them panicked. Bang! A bullet ripped through his chest. Rasputin fell. They sighed in relief until he moved. He pushed himself up, blood pouring, and lunged toward the door. Another shot, then another. Still, he crawled toward the stairs, gasping, reaching for life itself. The men beat him, shot him again, wrapped his body, and threw it into the frozen Neva River. Days later, his corpse was found under the ice. Autopsy reports said his lungs were full of water, which meant he hadn't died from poison or bullets. He had drowned. Even in death, Rasputin refused to die. A year later, the Romanovs were executed. The empire collapsed, and Russia fell into chaos, just as Rasputin had warned. He once told the Tsarina, "If I die before your family, you will lose your crown and your life within a year." The prophecy came true. Some say his body was burned, yet the ashes never turned to dust. Some claim his severed head blinked as flames consumed him, and others say they've seen him wandering in Siberia, whispering to the snow. Was Rasputin a prophet, a monster, or something that still walks the thin line between life and death?